Welcome to What Do You Think of This? We are taking the best things from our past and from this year and letting you know whether they're the best things for your future. I'm Jeff Abiad. With me today, as always, Josue Escobar.
Hello, everybody.
How you doing, Josue?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great.
Are you stuffed from all the
Thanksgiving,
festivities?
Christmas, chocolate, figgy pudding, all of the things.
Yes, all the things.
Yeah.
The candy canes?
No, I don't do the candy canes. Do you?
Yeah, and matter of fact, I just to kind of, remember we talked last episode about
we were
the
talking
candy
about,
canes?
Yep.
You know how we put candy canes on our Christmas tree?
Mm-hmm.
And I was saying how we
They were
reused.
ancient?
Yeah, the ancient. I made that up. That was not right.
Your wife's like, what are you talking about?
I asked
Don't tell
Elizabeth,
people that.
Don't we reuse the same candy cane? She's like, no.
I buy them every year.
Yeah, she buys them the kids eat them every year. And I'm like, I don't get a candy. I mean, I get maybe a piece of candy cane.
That's funny.
But the kids eat the rest of them. I'm like, really? That's a lot of candy they're eating.
Yeah.
But yes, we buy new candy canes and put new candy canes on the Christmas tree. I thought they were the same candy canes. I don't know what I was thinking.
I really wanted to give you the benefit of the doubt because I thought, oh, that's weird, but okay. Well, this isn't a holiday episode in as much as it is the final episode of our first season of What Do You Think of This?
Yeah.
It's been really fun. And today we have something really special planned just for this finale episode.
Yeah.
But it is that final season. We're going to take a short break over the holidays for a couple weeks. And then we're going to be back on January 9th with another fantastic second season.
It's going to be fun.
It's going to be really fun.
Really good. And this has been a lot of fun, just going down memory lane, new stories, old stories, and I'm just so grateful for this.
It's been so fun.
It's been awesome.
I'm glad we finally carved out the time. Thanks to your wife for motivating us to do so. Because even prepping for today's episode, I was going back through just a list of all the things that we had done. And I'm like, I can't believe we did all this. And I have like all these fun memories tied to all these things now. It's been really good. And speaking of, so for the next 3 weeks, even though we're not going to be in the studio, what we're going to be doing is releasing new content for our listeners. So if you're listening to this and you've maybe been watching on our YouTube channel, YouTube at WDYT Show, we've been putting episodes there. The audio has always been there, but lately we've been posting video as well.
Yeah.
We have a couple videos in the archive that we never released. We just released the audio footage.
Yep.
So we're going to be releasing those special episodes over the next few weeks.
That's going to be great.
It's going to be awesome. So if you just want to re-listen to them, you can do that too. Those are going to be on your podcast platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all the places.
Yep.
You can find all those links at wdyt.show.
Where was that one place we saw that we were on? We were like, I don't even know how we're on that.
I don't know.
Remember that app? There's an app on there.
I put us everywhere at the beginning of this, and I don't even check them all
who
anymore.
Who even uses that?
Yeah, Stitcher and all of it. Pocket Cast.
Yeah. Let us know if you're listening to us on that. And then, reason why you use that.
I found you on my local radio station after Delilah was done at like 3 a.m.
Wow.
Is she still on?
I don't know who you're talking about. Delilah.
Delilah, love someone tonight.
From what?
It should be every year. And then she does like holiday stuff. And then she has callers call in.
Oh, really?
And they give their sentimental stories and she plays them love songs.
That's so funny.
You really don't know
No.
Oh, okay. Well, our listeners, let us know if you know Delilah.
Maybe I'm not, is it like a late night radio?
It would be an evening thing
okay.
on your just standard radio station, but I have no idea. Back in the days when you used to listen to radio.
Exactly. I don't even listen to radio anymore.
I only listen to podcasts.
Yeah, me too.
As
and
you
music.
should.
Yep. Specifically this one, right?
Specifically this one. So we have a good episode planned for today. And then, I am excited about this stuff coming up. I was thinking, though, that the winter season has officially started. For the listener, we are mid-December now. It's very festive. My house is already getting decorated. But the way that I actually know that it's Christmas time is my hands start drying out and just sporadically cracking.
I thought you were going to say something about the gnomes.
The gnomes.
The gnomes populating your house.
You are my witness. Our house has been invaded by more gnomes than usual. There are always gnomes, but now there's more.
They're fun.
They're super fun. A lot of beards. Not on my face, but everywhere else. which is a whole other
They're
thing.
like little Santa Clauses for some reason to me.
Yeah, some bigger than... You see the giant one with the long legs right outside the studio? You probably didn't even notice.
I didn't notice that one.
I'll show you. I should have brought him in and just stuck him right here.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, but we were getting out the decorations yesterday. We were decorating up on the stage and all that stuff. And I tell them every year, I'm like, I would like to not do this part because the dust affects me and the heaters are on.
Oh, yeah.
And every year this happens where we end up going up and down the ladder, hanging the stuff. And
dude.
within minutes, my hands go, ah. And so now I'm just lotion all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, you and my wife.
Yeah.
Having to, yep. Skin cracks.
The problem is everything that I do requires non-greasy hands. I'm playing a guitar, I'm on a computer, I'm on my iPad.
So you put lotion on it and you have like residue on all of these things.
My guitar is so disgusting. I keep trying to clean it and you look at the video and it's just like gross.
Good stuff.
I can't help it. But anyway, before we get into today, I want you guys to know about something special that's going to be specifically coming into season 2.
Yeah.
And we've kind of been teasing this a little bit, but we want you, the listener or viewer, to be a voice on our podcast.
Yeah.
This is a brand new thing that we really want to emphasize for the next season, because what we've been doing is keeping a list of all the things we love, hitting those kind of in order, right? Yeah. But we want your nostalgic suggestions.
Yeah, for sure, people.
Which people have been giving us.
Yeah, and we'll also, have them come on the podcast too. We'll have some special guests.
We might have some guests. Yeah, you'd have to be, we'll see. Because we do have some special guests in mind that's going to be super fun. But you could just be a voice on the podcast. So if you have something you think is worthy of revisiting or would just be fun to revisit, send us a voice memo. Send it to ideas@wdyt.show and just send us a quick intro of, hey, you should watch this because... or listen to this because it gives us 2 lines. If you've been listening to the podcast, you know we do our intros.
Yeah.
So just something like that.
Yeah, something short and sweet and just make a cameo.
Yeah. And we'll be reminding you over the next couple of weeks so you can remember, just shoot it to us. It doesn't take long. You don't have to be in a professional studio.
Yeah.
You just need your phone, voice memo, and a quiet room.
Yeah, in portrait mode. I'm just kidding. You know, people do that all the time. We're like, would you take our picture for us? And can you do it in portrait mode?
I always switch it to portrait mode before I hand it to the person.
Yeah.
You have that though, that you have
vertically, please.
You have to back up really far. Yeah.
Whatever version of that audio wise. Nope. Just do it on your phone.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Just some quality recording. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Okay. But for today, for our final episode, which I believe is episode 22.
I got thrown off after counting where we were. We said 24? Right. No, 26.
And the test kitchens aren't episode numbers. I'm going to have to change that next season because it was hard to keep track of this time. So that maybe they'll get numbered next time. So what we decided to do is to take everything that we have consumed.
Yeah.
And we're going to bracket them.
Yeah.
And we're going to come up with what is the best, most awesome nostalgic thing.
Yeah. Exactly.
So
it's gonna be fun. Some of these have no chance of being the best, but great. It's okay.
Yeah. So should we hit our special intro?
Yeah, whatever that is.
You should listen to What Do You Think of This? Because it'll give you a fun perspective on movies.
You should listen to WDYT because they tell you about movies and they tell you confusing parts. So when you watch the movie, you'll know what's happening.
You should listen to What Do You Think of This? If you want to listen to a discussion of the movie that's as long as the movie.
It's so much fun remembering all the crazy things from our childhood.
The movies we do are funny and the music is also really good.
Jeff and Josue have a lot of fun talking about the movies and going back and forth and just sharing life at the same time. It's a lot of fun.
You should listen to WDYT because you can get involved and share your opinions on what you think they should watch.
They have a lot of fun together and podcasts are great. And if you haven't listened to one before, What Do You Think of This is a great one to start with because they do different movies. And after, if you think the movie is great, you can watch the movie after and be like, hey, this is a great movie. What Do You Think of This is a great podcast. You should definitely listen to it.
You should listen to What Do You Think of This? Because my uncle is awesome.
you should listen to the What Do You Think of This podcast, because they always play such fun games and they always say such funny stuff and do fun things to keep you entertained while you're listening, and also things that you may be interested in or like to hear about. But it's really fun to listen to, and you should listen to the podcast.
All right, so we've got this sectioned off on a table in front of us in, I don't even know what to call it. It's kind of like an Eastern, Western division and Northeast, Southeast, but I don't know what direction any of this is. I don't have a compass. So, and we just kind of paired them up. So where do you want to get started here? Because I feel like we've covered a wide variety of things, and some of these are not like the other things.
Exactly. It's okay. You'll get the gist of what we're doing.
You'll get the gist of it.
What we're going through.
Should we start with maybe something more traditional here, epic, like movies?
Yeah, maybe we should explain that we have different categories that we've done on the podcast, right?
All right.
We've done movies, just our classic nostalgia movies. We have albums that we've listened to on the podcast.
Yes.
And we want everyone to chime in on any suggestions of something you love or nostalgia for you guys, for us to listen to or go through.
Yeah.
We have musicals. Sorry.
They're
there. And animated movies.
Yep. And then we have two animated specials
that we've done that were tagged on with another episode. And then our Test Kitchens.
Test Kitchens, which some of the most fun episodes. I don't know how those are going to stack up against movies.
Yeah, I don't know.
We're about to find out.
Honorable mention, we kicked out the very first Test Kitchen because it had nothing to do with any of the movies.
Yeah, we covered Wheaties and the Olympics, and it was awesome.
And that was a great introduction to Test Kitchen.
Yeah, it was probably going to win the whole thing, so we just booted it.
Exactly.
It's out. It was just the odd number.
Because of this episode, I bought black olives just to have black olives in stock in my house.
Oh, yeah?
It's always been something that's just randomly happened.
Yep.
I've randomly eaten here and there. And I'm
Olives.
like, I want olives at the house now.
Yeah.
So whenever I have a craving, I have black olives.
All right.
So there you go.
It's impacting your life, this podcast.
Yeah, for sure.
So where do we want to start? Do we want to start with just classic movies or more animated?
Yeah. So we have basically kind of three divisions on each side, right?
Yeah.
So we have a Eastern Conference and
Western. We'll just call this West and this East. Okay. So why don't we start in the East, just right here at the top, which is our two specials. They were the shortest ones. We're pitting Garfield's Halloween special against a Charlie Brown Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Can you give us a quick recap of what these are?
Yeah. So basically, if you guys probably already know this, but Charlie Brown Peanuts, they always have like a Christmas special, a Thanksgiving special. They have a Halloween one.
They do.
I don't think I've seen very much.
There's a Valentine's Day.
Yeah. So it's Charlie Brown bringing together his friends for Thanksgiving and having Thanksgiving dinner with all those characters. Impromptu with Snoopy. Garfield, Halloween special, Garfield and
Odie.
Your
artwork?
Yep, my artwork. They go out to trick-or-treating. They go trick-or-treating and they get into some wild and crazy adventure there with ghosts at the end.
Pirate ghosts.
Pirate ghosts, yep.
There's a lot of candy in that episode. There's some fun music.
Candy.
That's right.
And so those are the two little specials we had for our Halloween episode and our Thanksgiving.
I feel like the standout elements of Charlie Brown, the music, the old school classic animation, and the charm of a comic strip.
I mean, would you say that? But I think comic strip wise, I think Garfield did a good job of keeping that kind of feel too.
It did, yeah. But it had kind of Garfield was more like the one-liners. The animation was like, it's a different style, but fun. The songs were fun, and it had a different plot element to it. So,
nostalgia wise, I know I can go back to the Thanksgiving one, and like I know what to expect. And it's one of those. It's been around for me, it's been around longer in my life than Garfield, because I don't think I'd seen the Garfield one until you introduced it. So,
and I would say in our house too, Thanksgiving will always win out. I hate to knock Garfield out so early on here as the very first thing, but Charlie Brown is way more dependable, will way more keep the attention of more people in our house.
I was gonna say that Garfield's has more like adult type of like keeps you whatever more drawn in adult wise. But I mean, Charlie Brown's like 40 years old. He's got no hair. He's balding.
Oh, yeah. I thought you meant the media was 40 years old.
No, he himself.
He acts like a 40-year-old.
He understands, the adult Thanksgiving qualms.
Qualms. So are we saying Charlie Brown over Garfield?
Man, it's a hard one for me, but yeah.
Okay, sorry, Garfield. But go onto our Instagram channel and see Josue's amazing drawing of Odie.
Yes. The only reason why, too, it's kind of hard for me is because Garfield was newer. And sometimes newer things tend to like have more impact. But yeah, Charlie Brown.
Okay,
definitely takes it for me.
Here in the Eastern Conference, now let's go Northeast.
Yes.
And let's pick our first. Why don't we talk about Goonies?
Yeah, that's right.
Goonies, we revisited. I had never seen it.
Yeah.
I just heard about it all my life.
That's right, yeah.
That was episode 2 for us. And then episode, was it 11? We hit Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah.
Where you have Robin Williams being maybe some of his most Robin Williams-y.
That's true.
So what do you think makes Goonies the, epic, like great movie that people think it is?
Man, that classic kid adventure.
Mm-hmm.
The classic X marks the spot map adventure, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's not billions. It's not like billions and no. There are so many movies, TV shows, games that are like X marks the spot, the treasure, and then getting there, and that all of the stuff that happens in between getting to that point, right? So that's why I think Goonies is really good at that. I think the other thing that what people love about Goonies is the actors.
Mm-hmm.
And the nostalgia of like seeing Josh Brolin when he was a teenager.
I enjoyed that having not seen it.
All of that kind of thing. That 80s filming style too is just, yeah. So I think that's what it's got going for it.
I came into Goonies having not seen it, having a feeling that I wasn't going to love it, and it pretty much panned out that way. I enjoyed it, but I thought, okay, it did not live up to all the hype that I had heard of it, but I had never watched it growing up.
Yeah.
So I didn't have that. Whereas Mrs. Doubtfire, I did watch. I had seen a lot, so that was a little harder to rate based on a new introduction. It wasn't.
Yeah.
But there was so much going on in that.
There was. I mean, I think in Mrs. Doubtfire, the one I watched this with the kids, with the whole family, and it held their attention the entire time. I don't remember if Goonies was a hard one or not to have the kids like stay in it.
Stay engaged.
And Mrs. Doubtfire, I mean, it was really funny. It's just, and there's like drama, that whole scene at the end where they're at the restaurant.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And he has to go back and forth between being himself and Mrs. Doubtfire. It's like, like so tense.
Oh yeah. Tense. It gets you engaged.
Mm-hmm.
The themes of the movie are actually very mature in that like a kid could really enjoy all the impressions and stuff, but an adult watching it could really be touched and moved.
Yeah.
So
it was kind of sad at the end. They didn't get together. The kids were like, they didn't end up together.
Yeah.
Nope.
I know. Yeah. It had that like melancholy ending, but I would still be able to watch it again. Because sometimes you watch something like that and you go, no thanks. I don't want to feel that again, or I was good for once, but I don't want to re-experience it. But I feel like Mrs. Doubtfire is like quotable, whatever. I would come back.
Yeah.
And I think Goonies has some quotes too. That's the only reason I knew the movie.
Yeah.
People
like,
would quote it.
Guys.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, for me, I think my nostalgia beats out Mrs. Doubtfire for Goonies.
You mean you feel more nostalgic about Goonies, or you think it's edging you in that direction?
It's edging me in that direction.
Oh, I am 100% for Mrs. Doubtfire over Goonies, but that may not be a surprise only because I didn't enjoy it at the end of the thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, I feel like you got Robin Williams at his best. You have Sally Field killing it. Pierce Brosnan as a background, basically.
Sally Field. I've always said I wanted Sally Field as my mom.
And, the kids were good. What's his name? Lawrence.
That's right.
And, they were great. So,
and the little girl that played Matilda in Matilda.
That's right. So I just feel like it has a bit of an edge as far as watchability.
Yeah, you think so?
Oh, yeah. The internet is going to freak out about this because people love Goonies. Like
I
you're
know.
saying,
Yeah,
you got that nostalgic tie, but I'm saying it's all nostalgia.
Yeah, well, Josh Brolin riding that
Bicycle?
That tricycle. Is it a bicycle? Little bicycle? Girl's bicycle?
Yeah.
I don't know if does that beat out Mrs. Doubtfire?
No, I'm a hot dog. Hello. I'll take that over Josh Brolin's bicycle any day.
Which one was a longer movie?
Well, the Goonies felt longer.
It did feel longer. I mean, you've got, what's his name, speech in the well. It's our time now, here. It's their time up there.
It's Sean Astin. Yeah.
That speech was not that great.
No. Yeah. And their hijinks. It had the hijinks. I don't know. The
other thing that makes me want to say Mrs. Doubtfire is out of respect.
Just for Robin Williams?
Robin Williams, because he's not with us anymore.
Oh, well, that'd be like Heath Ledger's Joker. You know, it's like...
Well, I mean, even if he still was with us, that would still win.
I know, but I feel like that's what gives people a little like, well, you know, you got to respect him because he passed away. And it was also great. Can we just talk about it? It was great.
All right, so are we saying Mrs. Doubtfire wins this one?
I am. We haven't talked about how we resolve a conflict here.
That's true. I didn't think we would have this conflict.
You thought it'd be Goonies?
Well, no. Well, for any of it.
Yeah. I'll let you follow your heart on this one. You do whatever you feel.
I mean, that's the thing. It keeps edging me out to the nostalgia because I can see both movies really well and picture them in my head. Mm-hmm. Mrs. Doubtfire only because I just recently watched it, more recent than Goonies.
Sure, because Goonies was episode 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, if you're feeling Goonies, I think people will be happy. I don't think it's a bad decision. People like it.
We also have to think, who's this going to go up against?
Well, you can't be thinking like that.
All right, let's do it.
All right.
I say Goonies beats out Mrs. Doubtfire.
Goonies is just edged out Mrs. Doubtfire, and it was a heated battle. Okay, let's go over here to some maybe bigger movies. I'm actually afraid of this lineup. So should we start? Well, we're in the corner. Let's just do it.
Let's do it.
Let's just go right for the Band-Aid. This is Jurassic Park, which was our first episode ever.
Are you saying they have a T-Rex?
I'm saying they have a T-Rex. Mr. D. Lee. That's Mr. DNA, everybody. Versus E.T. the Extraterrestrial.
Yeah, both classics. Both Steven Spielberg's.
John Williams. When it comes to nostalgia, for me, E.T. edges out because it has existed. Now, I will say, I was just talking to my family this week because based on the podcast, they went back, like not my immediate family because we all watched it together, but my parents, my brother, who didn't even know if he, after watching it, had ever seen E.T.
Really?
And I'm like, how do I know this? It was just so in culture.
I guess,
That nostalgia sort of beat out the fact, I think in my memory now, I feel like I've seen it more than I have. But so that's very nostalgic. But Jurassic Park.
Yeah, I mean, I've probably seen Jurassic Park like 10 times, 20 times or something
in the last week? You've got to have seen it more than that. No?
Probably more. I mean, I just watched it like a week or so ago.
Did you? Oh, you did? You watched it again?
Yeah, someone had just told me that they'd never seen it before. They were over at my house and I'm like, well, we have to watch it.
Yeah.
And, I was pretty disappointed on their reaction of it.
Well,
they said it was great, but their face, it was like...
You're like, how great?
It's like when you say like, this was amazing. Like, really? Like, normally you're like, oh, wow, this is amazing. Like, there's just no emotion to it. So I was like, I don't know if you love this or not.
Yeah. And I think, though, those sort of reactions have been what this podcast has been about, too, because then you go, okay, maybe I'm looking at this with rose-colored glasses.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm remembering this differently.
Yeah.
But I do still think, coming back to it, like I hadn't seen E.T. in a while.
Yeah.
They both have similar elements because of Steven Spielberg. He knows his craft. He knows, I can't show you E.T. right off the bat 100% because then I'm letting it out of the bag and then there's not much more I can do.
Well, he does the same thing with Jurassic Park where he doesn't show you the dinosaurs right off the bat.
Exactly.
It has this buildup of, am I going to see it? And then when you do, it pays off.
Yeah.
I say best scene in Jurassic Park is the Tyrannosaurus.
Eating the goat and
eating
that
all
whole coming out.
Yep. Right. Versus E.T.'s, bicycles in the air.
Evading shotguns. But that's definitely the most iconic.
It's definitely the most iconic. So if you put those two iconic scenes up against each other.
How come E.T. ended up like the logo for, what is it, Amblin Entertainment?
Yeah, that's
and
true.
You don't have a T-Rex anywhere. Come on, Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
It is kind of
That's pretty funny.
self-referential how in like the newer Jurassic Park movies, the T-Rex will stand in the spot, and you're like, oh, this is like, it is iconic.
It is. So, I mean, I think I'm going to say Jurassic Park. I think because I've seen it so many times, I can quote it pretty well.
Yeah.
Has a little more quotable lines.
Totally.
I think this was Gennaro.
Must go faster. Must go faster. Yeah.
Or hold on to your butts.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Jurassic Park, easy.
Yeah.
E.T. is fantastic.
It is. Yeah. No, it's definitely, it's a hard one because I think E.T. beats most everybody else too. So
yeah, it's so funny. Some things are these brackets are never completely fair. Right?
We could always do the losers up, in another episode, the losers against each other.
Yeah. We do have a couple losers here. Okay, what in our Northwestern Conference, we have our musicals.
Our musicals, yeah.
And so we're going to hit those first because musicals and then albums are all in the same category.
This is an interesting one. This is going to be good. This is our 21st episode, our 19th episode versus our 21st episode.
It took us that long to get to musicals, and then we just did two almost back to back because Christmas.
Yeah.
So last week we did White Christmas.
Yep. And then we did Newsies a week before that.
2 weeks before that. And I had never seen Newsies, and you had never seen White Christmas.
Exactly. So that's pretty good because mine is going to be Newsies for sure.
Oh no!
And yours is probably going to be White Christmas.
Oh, so much.
I mean,
I also
open the gates and seize the day.
Let me say, because we got to the end of our Newsies episode, and I told you, I was like, I
can't beat those papes.
The papes. The music didn't stick with me, but the week after, the music did come back up where my kids, some of them were singing some of the songs from Newsies, where I still don't find them personally like as memorable as other musicals I've seen.
King of New York.
I'm the king. And it's fun to sing.
Yeah.
But when I just didn't like watching it.
Never fear, Brooklyn is here.
I will say it has more memorable music than White Christmas.
I mean,
with the exception
White Christmas has sisters.
It has the song White Christmas.
Twice.
Yeah. I mean, that is iconic of all iconic.
That's true.
That's just Bing Crosby. It's not flashy. And it has the sisters song 3 times, kind of, which is funny, but a little annoying, but it's supposed to be.
I don't remember any of the other songs.
Music? Well, because they were all weird. It's like that little Frenchman thing, all the other stuff we don't even know.
Yeah.
But for a story that I felt like I liked.
Based off a true story?
Yeah, but I didn't care.
Versus two stories. Two combined
I didn't care.
Plot lines.
I know White Christmas was just a vehicle for these amazing stars to showcase their abilities.
Yeah.
But they have good abilities. Like, I like Bing Crosby. The plot conflict was a little bit ham-fisted,
Yeah.
But it felt good at the end. The resolution was nice. Where I don't know, Newsies.
You're just gonna trample on the poor boys of the newspapers.
I just thought it could have been better. I guess that's how I feel.
The working boys in New York.
I bet, and that's what
you're gonna 10 cents a pape.
I left Newsies going. I bet there are better versions of this than the one I just watched.
Christian Bale. I mean,
that's what I mean. I was disappointed by it.
Poor Crutchy. Come on.
I don't feel for him. I didn't care.
Are you Mr. Snyder? Hey, Mr. Snyder.
Yeah. I don't know. Okay.
White Christmas.
How are we going to do this? Because we're obviously both swayed by nostalgia. So maybe we both ought to talk about the things that we liked.
Pull it up on IMDb, see which one has a better rating.
Oh, that's a good idea. Okay, well, first you pitch to me why White Christmas should win, and then I'll pitch to you why Newsies should win.
Oh, okay. Well, I think White Christmas should win because it has just that classic nostalgia Christmas time references and feels.
Mm-hmm.
There is that story, the storyline of putting aside all of your interests or your own benefits or your own things that you're chasing for yourself and focusing some of your own resources to bless somebody in the Christmas time and bring some joy and some hope into somebody who's like not getting it at the moment.
I love how you just made that sound so Christmassy, and your whole point was this does not feel like a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really just summed that up very well.
That's literally the very end and beginning of the movie. I'm ignoring everything in between.
Okay. I'm going to say Newsies, people love it. It has high notoriety and it is still being adapted. Where at White Christmas, I don't see any new versions of this. Newsies is still going on. It's still a Broadway phenomenon. You still see it in the Macy's parade. The songs, people know them.
Yep.
Obviously, you do have like the iconic Christian Bale is in this. You have Robert Duvall.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
You know, you have the involvement of such a large cast, and there was a lot of choreography put into it that, you know, had to come together for this to happen.
Yeah. And for a first-time director and choreographer. Yeah.
Yep. And I think the plot obviously was a little bit like the plot conflict was a real thing that actually happened. So that made it feel a little bit more believable, you know, versus White Christmas where it was just, you know, you're just kind of going along for the ride.
True. Yeah. Maybe you're on the train to Vermont.
Snow. Okay. Let me tell you, Newsies on IMDb, we're just going to do the star rating.
Okay, yeah.
Is that,
I would say that, yeah.
6.9 out of 10. So this isn't even Rotten Tomatoes. This is
6.9 out of 10. Okay. And then
stars. It's not Rotten Tomatoes. It's just IMDb.
Yeah.
Is that what we're going for?
I'm guessing, yeah. So I'm guessing White Christmas is going to have more just because it's an older movie and probably people have watched it more often because of Christmas. It's got that Christmas influence.
7.6.
Son of a...
All right, that's it. All right.
White Christmas it is.
Beats Newsies, and I could not be happier. You could just put Newsies down there in that corner, like back on the edge. Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about our first animated duo, that not specials, but the actual animated movies.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, we did 2 feature-length animated movies.
Yep.
Both of them had nostalgia for me. A Goofy movie and The Sword in the Stone.
Wait, did you have nostalgia for both? Is that what you said?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sword in the Stone is older.
Yeah, me too.
Watched it for longer. A Goofy movie, I remember seeing it in the theater. We owned it. We've owned both of these. I've watched them both a lot.
Yeah. I would say, I say The Sword in the Stone has more nostalgia for me than Goofy movie does. I've always been more of, I guess, the Merlin, King Arthur thing.
Oh, sure.
More than I have than Mickey Mouse, Goofy, and all of them. I would say I'm more of a Looney Tunes guy than I am a Disney guy in that aspect. So I would lean more on them, and that's what makes Goofy movie for me kind of take a back seat.
Now, you know, Sword in the Stone is Disney.
I know it's Disney, but these characters, like the Goofy character, like Goofy, Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, I'm more of Bugs Bunny, Elmer Fudd, and what's the duck name on Looney Tunes? I forgot.
Daffy.
Daffy? No, that Daffy's... Is Daffy the girl?
No.
That's Daphne Duck, right?
There's a Daphne?
I don't know.
Are you thinking about Donald and Daisy? Why do they all start with D's, the ducks?
Because they're ducks.
Just realize this.
Anyway.
Everybody's like, yeah, we all knew that. Okay.
Yeah, and Goofy was never my favorite of those characters anyway. You know, there's Disney, but then there's those characters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think Snow White, Cinderella, all those are in a different character category for me from Disney than...
It definitely feels like it's doing a different thing.
Yeah.
I have always liked Goofy. I like what they did in that movie in taking this, you know, him out of his element of being with like a Mickey Mouse or a Donald Duck or being just silly, whatever. He's still himself.
Yeah.
But then inserting a whole father-son narrative, amazing music, the upgrade to the animation where it didn't feel like it dishonored the previous animation, but it elevated it.
Yeah, because they added some computer in with the old traditional. Yep.
And the music was so good with that. And also, you know, the Pauly Shore character with the Cheese Whiz, really fun.
Yeah, it's one that I feel like I could go back to now that I've seen it. Because I don't think I'd seen it before, or I saw pieces of it before I actually watched it. So it's one that I could probably be more inclined to go back to and rewatch than I would Sword in the Stone.
Really?
Just because I think I've seen Sword in the Stone so many times that I don't feel like I need to go back to it as often.
Yeah.
To enjoy it.
Maybe we need to think about this as if, this feels terrible, but if we're picking the one to keep in our library. How about that?
Oh gosh.
If you had to say, I'm going to have a library of things that I can watch. One of these has to get eliminated. What am I keeping? And I love both of these for different reasons. But I think, and both have great music. Both do their thing really well. But man, and I don't know if it's nostalgia, but Sword in the Stone for me is something I don't want to get rid of.
Yeah, no, me neither. I'm thinking about that too because I mean, I would say this is probably something I already have in my library or like I've had in my library when I was growing up. And could I imagine myself without it? I don't know. I don't think I can.
Yeah, I agree with you. Okay.
And if you think about it, Arthur would totally decapitate Goofy. With that sword? Come on.
He didn't know what he was doing, though. Well, between him and Goofy.
He'd be like, stop being so goofy and sit down.
Whoa, what? Whoa.
Exactly. All right. I think Sword in the Stone gets it.
All right. Gets it. Okay. Let's go back to our Northeastern bracket. Next on the line, I'm excited about this.
Oh, gosh.
Is Alice in Wonderland. Remember, this is the 1985 two-part TV special. Now, I want to go on record here that I feel like they deserve part 1 and part 2 to compete against one another.
Okay, so which one? Let's do that first. Which one? 1 or 2? Which one work? Which one?
I feel like this is an obvious choice. How about I count to 3 and then we both say what we think?
Okay.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Part 2.
1.
You think 1 is better? Okay, I guess better that we group them together then. What do you think makes 1 stand out over 2? For anybody who hasn't seen this, by the way, I highly recommend, this wasn't a video episode of ours, but going back and hearing Josue experience Alice in Wonderland for the first time. Oh, I could listen to that again. That was funny.
That was crazy. It was wild. Well, so I only say number 1 because it's the classic fell down the rabbit hole whole thing with Alice.
Sure.
I think if you take out some of the crap in the middle and just put the beginning and the end of these and smack them together, then that's like the Alice in Wonderland story that I think everybody is familiar with.
Well, not really, because part 2 is its own book. Like 1 wraps up basically
in movies, it's like she falls, there's a rabbit, there's a tea party, and then there's a queen and a beheadings, and she's crazy, and then but that's like the very end of this.
That's all part 1 though. She gets back to the house. What part 2 does, if anybody hasn't seen it.
Oh, that's right. So that's why I say number 1.
It's Looking Glass Land. It's a whole new thing.
That's right.
She's not actually home. Jabberwocky is there. She's facing her fears. And it also includes these great characters. If I also have to mention.
Oh, yeah. What's her name?
Oh, Carol Channing.
Yeah.
And the Jam song.
Yeah.
So good. And those whole interactions with those queens was great. My baby. And then the White King. And Hey-Hor, John Stamos is in it, cutting the cake.
John Stamos is in the first one, though, isn't he?
No, second one only.
Scott Baio's in the first one.
Yeah, Chachi.
Yep.
That's great. The music on that one I like better. I just like the stakes of part 2.
Well, but we're not saying which one of these two against our next guy.
We're just lumping Alice together.
So
it was all ridiculous. The production quality was terrible, but the story itself is a classic story by Lewis Carroll that still holds up and has very great themes.
Like the people that made this version of this movie, of this show, whatever you want to call it, was cracked out of their minds. And then they all got together and got paid a bunch of money to make it.
It seemed like a cash grab.
Yep, exactly.
I'm glad it exists, though.
Okay, but this versus...
Yeah, Child's Play I had never seen before.
Chucky versus Chucky, which is a crazy thing that we did here, but...
And now
I want to say Chucky beats Alice in Wonderland.
For what?
Hands down.
For what reason?
Nostalgia? Probably better ratings online.
Are we rating this on nostalgia? I thought we were talking about the quality of the thing in our library.
Yes, the quality of the thing in our library. I'm okay with not ever watching that again. I would watch Child's Play again. It needs to be in my library.
Okay. I will agree with you. I am glad we watched Alice. It was very fun to revisit. it was fun to go back to the story in that way. It was just like a parody of itself. I had never seen Child's Play. I also thought the production quality on that could have been way better.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure in later years it was. But yeah, if you had to pick one to remain.
Yeah, but I mean, okay, so put both of these two movies together. I mean, put them up against each other if you're watching the two. Which one's going to hold your attention more?
Yeah, you're right.
You know?
Alice has her moments, but the suspense of Child's Play and that whole thing.
You could make Alice in Wonderland, Alice in the Looking Glass, all this other stuff. You could make this a 45-minute special.
It could have been.
And maybe it could contend with Child's Play.
It could have been way shorter.
It could have been way shorter.
There were a lot of pauses.
There were a lot of pauses. There were a lot of just unnecessary things. Like, what's his name in the caterpillar suit?
It's Sammy Davis Jr.
Yeah.
Well, I like that.
He could have been in there, but not that long.
And the introduction of Telly Savalas as the Cheshire Cat.
That's
meow, baby. I'm going to remember that forever. I had never seen that.
Yeah, but so...
okay, Child's Play wins out.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Okay.
Goodbye, Alice.
Goodbye, Alice.
Enjoy your withdrawals.
Enjoy your withdrawals. Okay, over here we've got Return of the Jedi, which was episode 6. Now, again, we revisited that not because it's necessarily the best Star Wars film, but because for me as a kid growing up, that was the one that I would come back to.
Yeah, and I think that's the one I would always come back to too. Although as a grown up, I think Empire Strikes Back was a much better movie.
Yeah. But that one versus another sequel, The Addams Family Values.
Yeah, so that's really good that they're like the last sequel, the last good sequels.
Yeah. Well, even that's kind of debatable. But taking these things for what they are, okay, Return of the Jedi has a lot going for it.
Yeah, if I'm going to pick one of them to stay in my library, it's going to be Return of the Jedi over Addams Family. I think it's just that Star Wars stuff I just love. You know?
Yeah, I agree with you. That having it remain in my library does make that an easier choice because Addams Family Values, I think if people haven't seen that, so worth rewatching.
For sure, yeah.
Or watching for the first time because it was funny and it's a good time.
Yeah, and especially with all the, stuff that's coming out now with Wednesday, that show and everything, like you got to watch where it all came from.
Yeah.
You know? Honorable contender.
Yes, very honorable contender. So not a shameful place to be demoted along with E.T. the Extraterrestrial, because but Return of the Jedi somehow edged out above E.T. Let's go to our albums. Can we do the first?
Let's do the first album. Yeah, let's do that.
Because way back in episode 4, I introduced you to a classic Christian album.
Yeah.
DC Talk's Free at Last.
And that was so much fun.
I remember listening back to this, and we were early on in the season, and so I was like, okay, I got to be critical where criticism is due.
Yeah.
This felt very silly. And you were admiring the production of it, when we were talking about...
Was that?
Well... in certain ways.
Yeah.
I think you spoke more highly of it than I did. And then when I went back and I listened to it, I go, they were doing a lot of really greats. It could have been a terrible album.
Yeah, true.
But you could actually listen to it.
Yeah.
Now, if you pay attention to the lyrical content and the time, like if you don't know the era, you didn't grow up then, it feels so much like a time capsule of a subculture that you put it against any of your top whatever albums nowadays, you go, okay.
Yeah, true. It really is one of those in that era, just because my wife listens to Backstreet Boys. Oh my gosh. New Kids on the Block. Sorry, Elizabeth. It has that vibe of that, like that production value. Growing up, Christian music always had this backseat production to the current like production that everyone else secular was doing, right?
Right.
DC Talk's production value was right up there.
It was really good.
Their sounds, their mixes, all that kind of stuff. It wasn't bad.
And again, I will say,
not knocking it.
We played this album and my kids just spontaneously started dancing.
Crazy.
Like it was motivating. It's a good energetic. So if you just want a fun time and to laugh a little, I would go back to Free at Last because I think it is definitely a respectable contribution to the genre.
Yeah.
Very good.
But on the other hand, you have another contribution to that genre, whether you like it or not.
Which I had not listened to until now.
Is Creed.
Yeah, since then. I mean, I heard it in the era, but I didn't really know the album.
And this album was their second album, the one that blew up, made them blow up.
Mm-hmm.
They went on to do 2 more albums, and then they split up.
Mm-hmm. A couple times.
And now they're back.
And they're touring, let's be honest, based on mostly nostalgia.
Yes.
This is the people that loved them growing up that can now pay for tickets to go see them, that want to go see them again, and are not being disappointed.
Yeah.
They are delivering what they promised, and that is a whole lot of drop D and a wall of electric guitar, you know?
Yep, exactly.
And Scott Statt's vocals.
Exactly. Very super unique.
Super unique. People like to rag on him, but he is unique, and it can wear on you after a bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Just like the drop D where you're like, okay, I need some variety.
Yeah.
But you're doing it great. Like
that gated snare on DC Talk, though, that can wear on you, though, too. Gosh. Deuce.
I don't know. I'm thinking DC Talk, you got the choir vocal, free, I'm free at last. You got, a lot of samples and stuff.
I mean, I think, but for me, if I'm going to keep something in my albums or in my library, if I'm going to keep an album in my library, I'm
nervous about this.
I'm going to keep Creed over DC Talk.
Oh, man.
And I told you, I was like, I don't know if at the end of that episode, I was like, I don't think it holds up. But against DC Talk, for me, I think I'd go back to, if I had to choose one over the other, I'd go back to Creed.
Yeah.
Only because I could jump in and know where I'm at with Creed. With DC Talk, I'd be like, I don't remember this song. I'd be trying to remember it or trying to learn it.
It's different for me, yeah, because I know that album. I could basically sing along to the entire thing or rap along, whatever that was in 1990. But Creed, I think for me, DC Talk is more listenable over and over, where Creed, I would get tired of it.
I think you're a little bit right. Yeah, I think you're right on that one for sure. But
if I didn't know either and I came into it just fresh, I don't know now. I think I would have less qualms listening to Creed. I would go like, oh yeah, cool.
Yeah, it's like it's melting your face off. DC Talk has they're going to run away from, Creed.
I don't know about street cred, but I have a feeling they did what they did really well because they're still, the guys are still around.
Can you take me higher?
Yeah, but that drop D. I want to demote them just for all the drop D. It was so much.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do about that because you almost had me there. But
did DC Talk do anything like that with their music? Was a lot of their music very repetitive sounding?
No, you went right from New Thang to that was the album before that. That's how it's spelled. You look it up. And then you go to Free at Last, which had all these samples and all this stuff. And then after that, they went to Jesus Freak and they got their rock music on. So I think that they did I don't know. I feel like I think they have more in their wheelhouse, even though some of it I cringe at it.
Yeah. I mean, you go from, I'm just trying to think of titles here, like New Thang to, just comparing those two strengths.
I think these are both things with subcultures. I think these are both albums that have people that love them. And I think these are both albums that can be ridiculed by people.
Yeah, true.
Okay, for different reasons. So I think these are both things that I have enjoyed and could still enjoy. So this is weirdly hard for me where I didn't expect it to be difficult.
Really? Yeah.
Because, I don't know. I say just take your pick on this one.
Beautiful. Say I.
Yeah, but you're saying that because of you have the ties to
it. Come on. Again.
Jesus is still all right with me.
I mean, that's a great statement. But that just sounds so much more like, I hate to brag on him. I rag on him like that. Puny. It's not puny, but.
Down with the one that is known as the sun from the G to the O to the D, never done.
I mean, it's a little less cheesy. Creed is a little less cheesy than DC Talk. So I think just because of that uncheesiness.
I'll give it to you, but I wouldn't, I don't think either of them are going to win in the end. So let's just go for it.
Creed.
All right. Creed, you beat DC Talks free at last with Human Clay. All right. Let's go back here. Now, I don't know how long this is going to take, so we're going to have to be quick here, but these are two epic films that we're looking at here. Yes. We're back in the Eastern Conference. We've got Gladiator, which we talked about in episode 9, and The Godfather, episode 13. I think this is tougher than it seems.
Yeah.
Not only because these are both very highly regarded films.
I hate to insult anybody offend anybody with my choice, but
I also think some people don't like some of these films too. I found out after the fact, like people come and watch it and go, I get why people like it, but I didn't. Or maybe I just voted that I didn't.
And we're talking about episode 9 and 13.
Yeah.
Gladiator versus The Godfather.
That's tough.
Man.
That's really hard.
One of the things that I'm going to probably say is I'm going to break it down to the roles. Okay?
Okay.
You've got Al Pacino in his role.
Yeah.
And then you've got Russell Crowe in his role.
Yeah, and these were both pretty landmark, like set the tone like movies for these actors to be in.
Yeah. And like, if you go back to like, okay, what made Al Pacino? I don't know necessarily if it's Godfather.
Sure.
I would say Scarface.
Which I've never seen.
Yeah, it was probably what made him that, Marlon Brando.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Godfather made Marlon Brando.
No. He was already huge by then.
So, and so if I had to have one of these in my library, I had to say like, I have to watch one over the other. I'm probably going to go Gladiator because it's my nostalgia thing. It's my. Are you not entertained?
It is your thing.
Shadows and Dust. Maximus.
Hans Zimmer.
Yeah.
I mean, that is so iconic. Like the music of it, the hand through the field. But the music of The Godfather hits, and in a different way, it takes you right into that movie. And I think the production, I wouldn't even say the production quality, but you think of all the cast coming together and the compelling nature of the story.
Yeah.
Really draws you in. Like there are so many amazing people in that movie. Yeah. And it made me go,
Duvall's in it also.
Yeah, Robert Duvall, he's in it. And it made me want to watch it again.
Yeah, I think the thing that Godfather has going for it too over Gladiator is the story is a little more, I guess, more universal than just a straight up emperor versus gladiator type thing, just blood and, violence.
Well,
there's some violence, obviously, but
it's
more nuanced.
The underlying themes of the underdog in Gladiator, somebody who gets everything taken away and has to just have the character and the bravery, the courage to stand up in the face of opposition, might for me win out against the mob family.
Yeah.
I'm doing this for the sake of my family, so my morals are being corrupted so that I can do what should be done. They're both doing the thing that they ought to do. They're kind of rising to the occasion to step in where they didn't expect themselves to be.
Yeah.
And achieving it. But Maximus versus, Corleone, Michael Corleone.
Yeah. I mean, Maximus, the merciful.
Yeah, this is going to make people angry either way.
Bad guy. I mean, there's a clear good guy and bad guy in Gladiator. And you've got, what's the actor's name? Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm blanking on his name.
Shadows and Dust?
No. The Emperor, the bad guy.
Oh, Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah.
I hate him so much.
You love to hate him.
He is so compelling. I didn't even think about him.
Yeah.
Also.
Those two roles together, can you imagine this movie without them?
No.
The Godfather, it's just more slower paced. It's more intellectual. There's more nuance. There's all these. It's a slower burn at times.
Yeah.
It's a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. I would love to have both of them in my library, but if I had to choose one,
you're right.
Man, I think I'm going Gladiator, and that's. I mean,
me too.
Sorry, everybody, don't kill me for that.
I will say, I loved The Godfather.
Yeah.
I hate that it is sitting in the same line as a Goofy movie
and
now.
I had.
It seems unfair.
Wow. I did have a great time with that podcast, recording that one. That was was really fun.
Which one?
Gladiator.
Oh, okay, yeah. That was good.
So, I think.
All right, Gladiator. Sorry, Godfather. You and Alice, part 1 and 2, can hang out. That's unbelievable. That just happened. This is the biggest controversy. This
is great.
Okay, now let's talk Test Kitchen. Now, we eliminated Wheaties because we couldn't fit it in the bracket. We had 2 other Test Kitchens that were based on nostalgic foods. And I'm just going to call them by their titles, even though they included more.
Yeah.
One was our second Test Kitchen, Hot Jambalaya.
Yeah.
That came right out of Mrs. Doubtfire. Now, talk about honorable mentions. It included Dino Nuggies. It included Jell-O from Jurassic Park, which some people were like, how is Jell-O in Jurassic Park? And I was like,
have you not watched the movie?
Yeah, that sticks out in my mind. Cheese Whiz from a Goofy movie. And what was the other thing?
What is this?
I don't even know what I wrote.
Alf spray?
Oh, the alphabet spaghetti. I got tired of writing.
Alf
There's a lot of
spray.
stuff on that little card.
Alf. That was a pretty good show.
And the key lime pie. Oh, it was
That's
delicious.
right, yes.
Okay. Versus our most recent Test Kitchen, where we took the Godfather-inspired spaghetti and we used my Uncle Joe's spaghetti sauce recipe.
Oh, dang.
That you guys worked on, you and Elizabeth, at home, which was fantastic.
The turkey leg.
The turkey leg was great. We did Reese's versus M&M's.
Yep.
We didn't
The
have any
cheesecake.
jam because Carol Channing said we couldn't.
Yep.
And we had a little mini cheesecake.
Oof.
Jambalaya, and the jambalaya too.
The jambalaya was really good. But those turkey legs were really good too.
They were really good.
That spaghetti was great too. I'm gonna go with hot jambalaya though, and because of the Jell-O.
Really?
No, you don't. You don't agree?
Here's the thing: when I think about all these dishes, the tangy nature and the spice kick of that spaghetti sauce.
Oh, well, yeah.
I can feel that on my tongue right now. And I think, would I pick up a fork of that or the jambalaya right now? And that jambalaya was great and it had the cayenne pepper. But I mean, I can feel.
The Reese's Pieces. I love those too.
Yeah.
Oh, dang, you're right.
I can feel that sauce in my mouth. And the turkey leg. My kids were fighting over turkey legs at Thanksgiving. I'm like, do you even like dark meat?
I just wish the Jell-O was in this category.
That Jell-O was really good.
The Jell-O was really good, but then like the whole nostalgia thing of you telling us how you eat it was pretty crisp. We swish it around in your mouth through your teeth. I was like, what?
Who doesn't do that? Doesn't everybody do that with Jell-O?
Oh, man.
The Cheese Whiz, you were so disappointed.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that was gross.
For a Test Kitchen episode, which is not what we're rating here.
Well, you're right. And we spent time on that spaghetti. I guess you're right. Yeah, I'm gonna go with this one.
Yeah, let's do it. Godfather, your spaghetti sauce made it, but you didn't. I can't believe that.
Wow.
In the end, we were the downvote. Okay, here we're back to the Western Conference. We're going to talk about 2 movies that were, I don't know that either lived up to my nostalgic expectations. Oh, you're clearing the tape. I should have taken a picture of that.
Oops.
That's fine. We know that that's the round one. We'll just keep them separated. So here we have Superman 3. Superman 3. This is the classic Christopher Reeve Superman. He set up like what we probably, so many of us are, and we know the character to be. But number 3 was a different cast. It was a ridiculous take, different director.
It was a really weird, it was a really weird take on Superman, and just the way, everything was really, really odd about it. I
think if you went into that expecting what you got in Superman 1 and 2, you were disappointed.
Yeah. It is not the quintessential Superman story. Like if somebody was like, well, who's Superman? What should I watch to kind of get the gist of what Superman is? I would not recommend this one.
He gets corrupted by fake kryptonite made by a supercomputer and turns into an evil drunk version of himself.
An evil drunk, an evil...
Angry drunk.
Yeah, and what a deviant.
Oh, and creepy. Yeah. But and I found this out. I can't remember if we talked about this on the pod. That because
Superman is having unmarital relations.
Yeah. But I think this is one when I was talking to my folks about this, that somebody recorded on a VHS, which is why I had seen it so many times.
Yeah.
It wasn't even about going to the rental store. I think my memory of going to the video store was to rent the other ones because I knew 3.
Yeah.
So this was nostalgia for me. And because I already knew it, I wasn't watching it, getting disappointed by it. I was watching it going, oh, I remember this.
Yeah.
Oh, this is fun. It had Richard Pryor in it.
Yeah.
He's funny.
It has Lana.
Yeah.
Lana in it.
The original Lana who becomes
Martha
Kent.
in Smallville.
Yeah, whose name I can't recall.
Oh my gosh, I can't recall either.
It'll come back. So we pitted Superman, which is our third episode, against the Three
Episode
Musketeers. Episode 5. What can we say about the Three Musketeers?
One for all and all for one.
Yeah, it is a Disney film. It features many people. So Chris O'Donnell, the young D'Artagnan. D'Artagnan. You have Kiefer Sutherland.
That's right.
You have Charlie Sheen.
Yep.
Is it Oliver Platt?
Yep, exactly. Oliver Platt.
Okay, and you have Jeffrey Rush as an iconic villain, Cardinal Richelieu.
Yeah, he basically acted like Superman did when he was a creeper.
Oh, yeah, yuck. When I think about the compelling nature of those films later, if we had not rewatched these both, I would have gone, let's watch Three Musketeers. But then we watched it. It was so disappointing.
Yeah, dude. I am going to go on a limb here and say I think Superman 3 might win this one.
Nobody expected Josue to say this. I loved how disappointed you were too by Superman 3. But the Three Musketeers, I remember recording that episode and going, Josue, I don't remember
5. What happened in this movie.
Yes.
And I just finished watching it.
And then we
remember when they're on the boat and they're fighting all those Asian dudes?
The one Asian dude with the karate, that where did that even come from? Okay, and it was so and I remembered it fondly from childhood, but then we watched it and I was like, ugh. And then we recorded it and I thought, we can't release this episode. It's so boring.
And then the lady who kills herself, even though I think she could have had a chance to be redeemed.
Sabine.
Yeah.
But then I listened to the recording and the edit when we did it, and then I had such a great time.
Yeah.
So I would say, listen to the podcast episode.
I would say the podcast, yes, holds up.
More than the movie.
More than the movie.
Sorry for all the money you spent Disney's paying those actors. But,
yeah.
Okay.
I want to say Superman 3.
Totally. I'm happy with that. I'm sorry. Three Musketeers, you can sit with the Addams family.
Yes.
Okay. Let's talk our last 2 albums that we reviewed for this season, which are the final ones in our Western bracket. This is
Bing Crosby's.
Bing Crosby, his Christmas classics.
Versus classic Sinatra.
Yeah.
1953 and 1960 greatest hits.
I think this is a very worthy matchup.
Performances.
The way that these two, obviously, Bing Crosby pre-existed Sinatra, but they recorded these at about the same time.
Yeah, in the 1950s,
around
60s.
1960.
Were they
peers?
Were they peers?
Sort of. Bing Crosby was first, my understanding, and then Frank Sinatra came out slightly after and kind of picked up in his footsteps and then did a similar kind of career trajectory. You can find a lot of similar things. They both have Christmas albums. They both have a lot of classic recordings. They both have a similar vocal style. They were both in movies.
Yeah.
And both albums have the word classic in them.
I want to say classic Sinatra beats out Bing Crosby only because this is just Christmas music, and honestly, I'm probably going to pull out classic Sinatra out more than I would Bing Crosby if I had to keep one in my library.
Yep.
Yeah, and Sinatra, both have a very iconic voice. But when I think about this type of jazz and stuff, I definitely go back to Sinatra.
I love that.
I got the world on a string.
It's so good. Sitting on a rainbow.
Gosh,
really
so
good. And it's just the orchestration in that album. There's a reason all these songs came together on this album.
And I'm sure I could find some classic Christmas sung by this dude. So I want to say, sorry, Bing.
Well, and again, Bing Crosby, that album, him singing Christmas songs, so great.
Yeah.
But honestly, for including The Littlest Angel in the album, kick him to the curb. It's the worst.
Or Pata Pata Pam.
I don't mind Pata Pan, but that
Pata
Littlest
Pata
Angel
Pan,
song.
I don't like that one. I'd rather Papes.
All right. Well, I wouldn't. But this is okay because White Christmas is actually still in this. So Bing Crosby still gets to be represented.
Good for him.
Okay. On our Eastern Conference left, okay, folks, this is getting pretty eclectic. We have 2 animated movies versus one another now.
This might become our longest podcast, by the way.
No, I think we're doing pretty good. Where's the clock? We don't know. That's the iconic landmark, DNA of our episode. There's no clock. There's no clock. Okay. Charlie Brown Thanksgiving Special. Classic.
Yep.
Versus The Sword and the Stone.
Ooh, dang. I thought it was going to be really easy. Man, but I
will rewatch both of these. I don't know if it's unfair. I feel like Charlie Brown has a little bit of an edge because it's so short and seasonal that we will watch it every year.
Yeah.
Where The Sword and the Stone, if people ask me, what are your favorite Disney movies? I will always think of this.
Yeah.
But I watch Charlie Brown more.
Yeah. It's more iconic. It's around more. It's in the zeitgeist a little more.
Yeah. I think it's blown ahead.
Yep.
Okay. This is quicker.
Yep.
Okay.
Gladiator and our
versus Uncle Joe's spaghetti sauce. Okay. This is the test kitchen. Remember, we're talking that savory, spicy sauce.
Yep.
We're talking the turkey legs, Reese's Pieces, and that awesome cheesecake. I mean, Russell Crowe.
I mean, some would say they could eat him up.
Some? Yeah. I come on. Gladiator is winning this.
Yeah.
I loved eating all those foods, but Gladiator wins.
Gladiator it is.
This one I find difficult.
Child's Play and Goonies.
Child's Play versus Goonies. These are very different.
I'm going to say Goonies.
Child's Play is suspense.
Horror. Stab fest.
It's also funny. And then Goonies, classic.
Yeah.
I understand why Goonies will win this fight. But I want to say, I don't even like horror movies, and I like Child's Play more than Goonies.
Well,
but I did watch it with my dad, which was a whole other experience.
I love the reactions of that episode. We were talking about Child's Play, and then when I watched it, that was awesome. And over Thanksgiving, I asked my dad about, hey, do you remember when you let me watch Chucky 2? And he goes, yeah. And I'm like, okay, do you remember like I got up screaming and left? And he's like, yep. He's like, but you came back. I'm like, I didn't come back. I watched it like, he's like, okay. He's like, oh, no, your brother, Edgar, left and didn't watch the movie.
Oh, really?
I'm like, what are you talking about? He watched it. And I was like, no, you left, you were scared, but then you came back. Edgar left and never came back. And he was 5 years older than I was. So I'm like, oh man, maybe I did. Because I thought I watched the rest of it peeking through the corner.
Yeah, I remember you say that. I had the visual in my head.
But he's saying I came back.
Who knows? That hits everybody a little bit differently. But it did make my mother come into this office, sit in that chair and read a book and close the door.
All right, I say Child's Play wins.
Oh yeah? Okay. Yeah. All right. Cool. Sorry, Goonies. Okay. Woo. Here's our big hitters. Now we got Jurassic Park versus Return of the Jedi.
Oof. Jurassic Park.
Yeah, it's got to.
Yeah.
Return of the Jedi.
If this is Empire Strikes Back, maybe. But yeah, Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park wins it. Okay.
This is not going to be fair. Let's start down here.
Are you sure?
We got White Christmas versus Classic Sinatra.
The movie White Christmas.
The movie White Christmas.
Versus Frank Sinatra's album of classics. I love the movie White Christmas, but I agree with you.
Yeah.
Classic Sinatra's
got to win.
Is bumping White Christmas. Okay. No, you're right. That was here. That'll go here.
Okay.
And then left in the Western Conference.
Wow.
We have Superman 3 versus Creed's Human Clay. I can't believe this exists. Take a picture of that.
This is awesome.
Yeah. You should snap a picture of that. I'm going to put it on Instagram because I just can't believe that this has come down to this. This is an easy choice for me.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Are you going nostalgia or are you going new?
I don't even think this is based on nostalgia. I would just much rather watch all the ridiculous stuff happening in Superman 3 than listen to Creed again. There's some good music in there. I agree. And as a piece of work, if you compare Superman 3 to all the different Superman movies, it is not as good. But
the only reason I say I would agree with you is because Annette O'Toole, who is Lana, is in this.
You look it up, or you just remember?
I did. Looked it up. Annette O'Toole, great actress, and I got to represent Smallville.
Okay, I'm happy with that. I didn't want Creed to be here in the first place.
Superman.
So. All right, Superman, you got it. Okay, this is tough. How do we do these? Because we only have 3 on the East, which is Charlie Brown Thanksgiving, Gladiator, and Child's Play, versus 3 on the West, which is Classic Sinatra, Superman 3, and Jurassic Park.
You know, I think where we messed up was the losers had to go up against the winners of this.
What do you mean?
Like in a regular bracket, you'd have like Human Clay would have had to go up against Jurassic Park. And then, you know what I mean?
Oh, we can still do that. We got them here on the table.
DC Talk would have to go up against Superman.
Oh, no, this is going to take too long.
And then...
no, we don't have time for this.
You know what I mean? Bing Crosby would have had to go up against... No. White Christmas would have to go against... No. What was it?
Anyway. Okay. This is really tough to even consider. Well...
We could always have them go up against like this. And then we would still end up with 3 people. 3.
That's true.
Okay, let's do this. Of these 3, who would lose in these 3? Which one of these 3?
Okay, yeah, that's right. This isn't an actual sporting event. We can just have 3 versus each other.
Exactly. So Jurassic Park versus Superman 3 versus Classic Sinatra. Which one of these is not going to make it?
Okay, come on. Wait, we're eliminating one? Just
eliminating one.
Superman 3 has got to be eliminated,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I say so.
I mean, it's nostalgic for me, but there's no way it compares to Jurassic Park or these 8 years of classic Frank Sinatra were amazing.
And on this side, we've got Child's Play versus Gladiator versus A Charlie Brown's Thanksgiving.
I can't believe it's come down to this, but I think Child's Play has to go.
Hold on, I'm going to take a picture of that too.
It's so ridiculous. I'm just impressed that Charlie Brown has made it this far.
Yeah, me too. I think Charlie Brown has to win it.
Yeah, I mean, Child's Play's got to go, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That simplifies things a little bit.
We got an Eastern and Western Conference here.
Okay, so Eastern Conference, we have Jurassic Park, the first Jurassic Park movie, the classic Steven Spielberg, John Williams team up. You've got, even the fact that Jeff Goldblum is in there too, which we didn't even mention, and Dennis Nedry, all these iconic moments, iconic characters, the introduction of dinosaurs in the real world.
Yeah.
Say what you will about all the rest of the sequels. I don't think any of them measure up to the first. And then you have classic Sinatra,
who's been around for years.
You make me feel so young. If you listen to that album, we compared, I did, every single track to a different kind of chocolate in a box of chocolates.
Yep.
They each have their own unique thing. They are each delightful in their own way. Some of them are, it got a little saucy at times, sultry.
Crazy.
Classic. This is hard.
Yeah.
Because who compares to Frank Sinatra? I understand that there are other people out there. You mentioned Post Malone has a country album. So I guess there's probably a wide group of people that would maybe not listen to Frank Sinatra.
But if you're talking about stuff you're going to go back to all the time, for me, it's already Jurassic Park I'm going back to all the time.
That's true. I don't pull out that Sinatra album as much. I'm glad he made it this far. But yeah, I don't know.
think that T-Rex, I think Sinatra was Gennaro.
Oh, I hate for him to go down like that. Let him be Dr. Statler or somebody.
Or the game guy, the Mr. Arnold.
Mr. Arnold? No.
I think we're back in business, and then it's arm.
No, if Sinatra was in Jurassic Park, he is.
No, he's the owner. What's his name?
Hammond?
He's Hammond.
No, he is Gennaro. He's the guy hunting the raptors, and then he just got caught. Gennaro's a lawyer. What's the name of the guy hunting the raptors?
I forget his name.
Him. That's who Sinatra is. Yeah.
And then he dies at the end. Clever girl.
Yeah.
Okay.
Clever girl. Yeah.
There you go.
So now we got something we didn't even know out of that. We just got to figure out what that actor's name was. I can't remember.
All right.
He's in the whole movie, and I don't know his name.
I don't know either.
I don't even know the character's name.
I'd have to look it up.
That's funny.
A Charlie Brown Thanksgiving versus Gladiator.
How has this happened?
It's hilarious.
I mean, okay. I think let me think about this here. Because if I was just, again, asked about this having not recently seen them, I would have gone, oh my gosh, Gladiator, 100%. I just remember it, all of it, so fondly. And it was moved, and it's violent, but in a way that serves the story, and it's got characters.
Charlie Brown?
Remember, Betty goes on a killing rampage, and Snoopy wants to overthrow his father.
Snoopy thinks he's a T-Rex. I mean, sorry, an emperor.
But I think, I will say for Charlie Brown Thanksgiving, that I think it reaches a wider audience than Gladiator does.
His name is Murphy.
No.
Joseph Mazzello.
His character name is just Murphy?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, we're back at Jurassic Park now.
Yep.
Well, that seems appropriate for Frank Sinatra. But did they ever say it in the whole movie? You know this movie so well.
I don't know. They do. I think when they introduce him. This is Mr. Murphy or something expert.
I'm going to have to rewatch that scene.
Yep.
And insert it right here on the video, you know?
They should all be destroyed. Robert Muldoon, my game warden from Kenya. Bit of an alarmist, I'm afraid, but knows more about raptors than anyone.
Okay, but
it's kind of like a lose. Charlie Brown versus Gladiator. Come on.
Yeah.
Gladiator's got to win it.
It has to, right?
I mean, if I'm going to keep one, I'm going to go back to one all the time. I'm going to go back to both, but Gladiator, year round, for sure.
Yeah, Charlie Brown, I'm not watching all year. I'm not going, wow, Vince Guaraldi, though. If I were to pin up like Vince Guaraldi's music over Hans Zimmer,
oof.
They're obviously both excellent, both doing different things in these specific things. But that at least gives Charlie Brown, I feel like, a little bit of an edge, but I think he's out.
Done. I think he got decapitated. Whew. Here we go.
I hate for you to go down like that, Chuck.
Chuck.
So this is it. Gladiator is our winner of the Eastern Conference, and he's going up against Jurassic Park in the Western Conference.
Oh, dude.
I maybe would have assumed that it would come to this.
I don't know. Maybe. I thought maybe Godfather would be up against, but
it's true. He got eliminated in the first round by Gladiator, though.
By Gladiator. Yeah,
you know, that's okay.
Dang diddly darn!
I have almost an immediate instinctive answer to this.
I don't know what to do.
I think this is funny because if
episode 1 versus episode 9.
Anybody who knows Josue, I think these are the two movies maybe I hear you quote the most.
I know.
I can't even think of anything else we haven't said, because you think about music from both of these, iconic. Storyline, Gladiators is way more like moving on an emotional level.
Yeah.
But that's hard to say because even Jurassic Park, like the whole introduction of like dinosaurs being real is every kid's dream. And you get to see that realized in an adult, you know, as well as in the kids. And you get the tension of, you know, the kids' perspective. Dinosaurs are released. We could all just die. But then you have those high stakes in Gladiator.
Yeah. You could be sold into slavery as a gladiator.
Grown men are peeing on themselves out of sheer fear.
Yeah. I mean, you've got the reenactment of the Battle of Carthage.
The Battle of Carthage.
But then again, you have Jurassic Park, who is alive. It's alive today.
The franchise?
The franchise, yeah.
Well, so is Gladiator.
That's true. Gladiator 2 just came out. And it's alive today.
Well,
and it comes at you with one of these.
Think of the feeling you get when you hear
the point is
na, 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 versus I can't even imitate the hello shala.
There you go. That was good.
Yeah. I don't know what she says. Those are both very moving.
The point is that you are alive when they start to eat you.
Ooh. Yeah.
Dang.
But
what would you...
The roar of the crowd.
Yeah.
You begin to love it.
You knew Marcus Aurelius. I did not say I knew him. He touched me on the shoulder once.
This is.
What do
really
you want, Maximus?
difficult.
A girl?
A boy? A queer giraffe?
Or he left us. He left us. But that is not
what I'm going to do. And that Jell-O.
Wow. I guess we should, I think the winner is, and we should just cut the episode off right here.
It's over. The most disappointing. No, I'm going to say for me, it's Jurassic Park.
For you, it's Jurassic Park.
Yeah. Hold on to your butts.
You made me think about the storyline and how there's like more of a story with Gladiator.
I'm not saying Gladiator's bad. It is excellent. It beat out Charlie Brown, it made it this far. But in the end, Maximus died.
He did. He really did.
And somehow John Hammond lived on.
He has a jet sailing by it chapter. He spared no expense. That's why.
That's it,
Oof. Man, I love both these movies.
I know, but you can only keep one.
If I could only keep one. Oh, God.
Can only keep one.
I guess if I only had to keep one, it would be because I could
hurting him so much
because I could watch it because I could watch it with the kids over and over again. With the other one, I don't know. Dang it, I don't know. You know what's crazy is if I say this and it wins, it was the very first episode we started with.
It's all downhill from there.
No, it can't be.
You gotta face it, man.
How did this happen?
Shadows and dust.
Shadows and dust, Maximus.
Gotta let it go.
Shadows and dust. Joaquin Phoenix as a bad guy? There's no clear bad guy in Jurassic Park, is there? The Raptors? Are they the clear bad guys? This is tough.
This is like an aging, man, middle-aged man coming to terms with his frailty, having to admit to himself that his good years are gone.
Do you want to die, old man?
This is me watching you having to just realize and give something up.
Open the gate, Proximo.
That you love so much. It's so terrible.
I know.
I know it's hard. I'm not saying it's an easy decision. These are both excellent. We can't leave this one to IMDb.
At least we're not in the tree anymore.
You gotta do it. You gotta touch it.
I hate trees. Well, we weren't in the last one.
That's it.
Jurassic Park's got the nostalgia. I watched it before Gladiator. And yeah.
Sorry, Russell Crowe.
Dang. Today I saw one dinosaur become more powerful than the Emperor of Rome.
Wow.
As far as quotable, though, I can quote both of these.
Oh, for sure. I can't believe. Well, guys, that was really exciting.
Man, that was traumatic.
It was really hard to come to terms with that.
I feel like what's his name, sister in Gladiator, she's just scared for her life.
Busy little bee. Oh, yes. Okay. Well, I can't say I'm disappointed. It is funny that it was our very first episode.
Yeah.
And, it's kind of come back around. But I think a good way to close out our first season. So, what do you think of this?
What do you think of this? Let us know what you guys thought about this breakdown.
I don't even know if I can put this many options in a poll.
No, you'd have to do it up against like. I think we should do Gladiator versus Jurassic Park. See what people think.
Okay.
I think Gladiator might win just because it's on people's mind right now with the whole new Gladiator.
Maybe they've been spoiled by it. I might put the top 4.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
that would work.
We'll do Gladiator, Jurassic Park, Classic Sinatra, and a Charlie Brown Thanksgiving. And you guys tell us what you think is the best.
Yeah, let us know. Did I make the right choice?
This has been so great. I've really enjoyed revisiting this. And so, but yeah, we do want to know. So I just do want to remind everybody.
Gladiator went the way of Ned. Got a Dilophosaurus in the face.
Goo right to the face.
Yep.
You guys can always let us know what you think by commenting right underneath this episode on Spotify.
That's chaos theory right there.
Voting in the poll.
No one would have ever guessed that Gladiator would have gone the way of Ned.
No. You know where is another great place to insert your disagreement or your opinion on this? If you want to leave us a 5-star review on Apple and tell us what you really think. Yep. You can add that in the description. I don't care who you pick. You could pick Creed's album, All in Drop D, and as long as it's attached to 5 stars, you put whatever you want. Yeah, we're just trying to get the word out there.
Yeah, dude.
And remember that your voice can now be on this podcast to introduce one of our nostalgic items.
Yeah.
If you email your suggestion to, what should it be this week? Shadows and Dust.
Shadows and Dust at
WDYT.show. That's what do you think? So email your voice memo suggestion of the best nostalgic thing that you want us to revisit, and we will see if it holds up.
Crazy. What a good close of the season.
Oh, this has been fantastic. This has been so fun. I just want to say, first of all, thank you to everybody who's been listening and watching.
Yes, thank you so much.
And engaging, and everybody who I handed a pin or a sticker out to who was like, yeah, I'll wear this, or I'll use this. People have been so great, and everybody who shared or, liked stuff on Instagram. We have an amazing hype team that's been sharing stuff for us. But most of all,
let us know if you want to be on that.
Yeah, on that. No, please do. I want to say thank you to you.
Yeah,
this has been the best excuse to go back to lots of fun stuff and hang out together and have good conversations.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
And make our children watch. I want to say we didn't force anybody
to watch the Child's Play.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. They can opt out. My mom is a testimony to that.
Forcing people to watch The Three Musketeers. That was a hard one.
It was hard.
My goodness.
So yeah, whatever platform you're on, just share this thing on Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, whatever. We would love for other people to find out.
Yeah, and stay tuned. We're gonna take a little bit of break for Christmas, but we're gonna still send you some stuff to entertain you.
There's gonna be new stuff coming, and I can't wait to see what we hit next. And I can't wait to do it together. And it's gonna be a great 2025.
Yeah, 2025. Can you believe it? Jeez.
So thanks, everybody. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching if you're doing that. And we'll catch you on the flippity flop.
Awesome. All right. Peace out, everybody.
Meow, baby.